Chapter 51, Unreliable Wizard Leaders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ryan slowly stood up from the bathtub, and then the water droplets on his body disappeared silently, without any water vapor. Seeing Ryan wash and change into pajamas, Kate also jumped to the bathroom. Ryan lay quietly on the bed, and reviewed Dumbledore's layout in his heart. In Ryan's opinion, Dumbledore's behavior was too strange. Why did he accept death so easily in the original book? After crossing, Ryan found that Dumbledore's various behaviors clearly indicated that he would even create Horcruxes when he had no choice. The ring in the old House of Gaunt, that is, the curse on the Resurrection Stone, only takes life, but has no effect on the creation of Horcruxes. How could Dumbledore, who has Horcruxes, die? After Ryan really came to this world, he felt all this more clearly. The villains and black wizards all strongly pursued power and authority. White wizards are content with the status quo, do not pursue power and strength, and even prevent others from pursuing them. What you don't occupy, the enemy will occupy. In the original world, after Scrimgeour came to power, although he did not know Voldemort's strength very well, he was proactive. While Dumbledore was very conservative and maintained the old plan, what was the result? The Ministry of Magic was occupied by Voldemort. The Daily Prophet was also controlled in terms of public opinion, and it was closed down for singing a different tune. Voldemort also occupied Gringotts in terms of economy, although this was also related to the fact that Dumbledore knew Voldemort very well and was about to fall. Dumbledore's fall was something he himself did not expect at the beginning. He was so easily tempted by the Resurrection Stone, although it was his own character weakness. After all, the most painful thing in Dumbledore's life was the death of his sister, but why did Dumbledore, who was so cruel to himself, fall for it? It is very likely that he had already seen the ending, that he could win even if he died. Dumbledore knew Voldemort very well. Since he would not live long, he simply used his death to make Snape receive Voldemort's attention, save the innocent Draco, destroy the magic of the old wand, and make the situation, which might be more serious, smooth again. After Dumbledore's death, Voldemort, who felt that the situation was good, really began to digest his victory slowly like a snake. Instead of facing head-on and making sacrifices. On the Hogwarts side, there was Snape, who was in a high position, and Voldemort himself did not actually value the so-called pure blood declaration. He just hated Muggles, was afraid of death, and wanted to rule the wizarding world, so the young wizards of Muggle origin could only stop studying and lose their wands at most. However, in the original plot, the Muggle-born wizards should still be in school, but they may not accept Muggle-born wizards for the time being. After all, Colin is a Muggle-born. During the Battle of Hogwarts, he was still wearing a school uniform, as if he was still going to school. Snape is really good at it. The Muggle wizards also survived as Voldemort slowly digested the results of the war. After all, without the existence of Muggle wizards, how can the nobility of pure blood be reflected? Although they were deprived of their wands and lost their property, they survived after all, instead of being attacked by Death Eaters. If Dumbledore was still there, the situation might not develop in this direction, but would be more inclined to a head-on confrontation like the First Wizarding War, bringing more sacrifices. And most importantly, the son of prophecy, Harry Potter, had already developed a new connection with Voldemort in the 4th grade because of the way he was resurrected. Harry unilaterally gained an extra life. Even if Voldemort woke up and asked his men to kill him, it would only kill Harry once, and the Horcrux would also be destroyed by the way. What a bargain! However, according to Voldemort's character, Dumbledore knew that he would not do this. In addition, he left a portrait and could remotely control Snape to change the plan at any time. Harry, who has not yet lost his identity as a Horcrux, will also find the remaining Horcruxes and destroy them because of his relationship with Voldemort and the uncontrollable power of fate. At this time, it is to tell Snape the identity of Harry's Horcrux and let Harry die, destroying the last Horcrux, Harry himself. In fact, Voldemort's pursuit of the Deathly Hallows was beyond Dumbledore's expectations. He also didn't expect that Voldemort would catch up with Harry again and be defeated by the Holy Wand, causing Voldemort to start pursuing the Elder Wand, which also led to Snape's unexpected defeat. After all, it was Snape who killed Dumbledore in the end. In the end, Dumbledore did not create a Horcrux, probably because he found that Voldemort, a student, had lost his mind. Except for the decline of magic skills, the whole person lost his appearance and rationality. The side effects of the Horcrux were so strong that Dumbledore later shelved his plans in this regard. Dumbledore's original plan should have been smoother. If he had not been tempted by the Resurrection Stone, he would probably pretend to compromise, which was similar to the original plot, but he would take Harry to find the Horcruxes together. After finding them, he would take Harry to fight face to face. In the crisis, he would use Harry to block the killing curse, destroy the last Horcrux, and then give the last blow to Voldemort's surprise. Don't ask Nagini. In this case, Voldemort can't protect Nagini. After all, it is possible that Dumbledore will even call Grindelwald to fight together as a couple. So, in this case, I guess I don't have to do anything, as long as I go to deal with the Horcrux of the Resurrection Stone. Ryan thought in surprise. If Dumbledore had not been cursed, Voldemort would have died faster, and Harry would have died in the 5th grade. After all, Harry was mostly right about finding Horcruxes. Harry confirmed more than once that a Horcrux was in Hogwarts, but Hermione denied it many times. Even the destruction of the Holy Wand and Harry's near capture by Voldemort at Godric's Hollow, Harry was also right. Wasn't Nagini a Horcrux? With Dumbledore by his side, as long as he followed the place Harry sensed, the finale would come soon. No, I still can't be too extravagant. Ryan tried to wipe the corners of his mouth that couldn't stop rising. After all, what if there is something like fate? Dumbledore was too extravagant after Voldemort used Harry's blood to revive him, and he went to destroy the Horcruxes by himself. If there really is something like fate, at least Neville should have been brought along. It was too bold to dare to go to the Horcruxes alone without the Son of Prophecy. After Dumbledore was cursed, he had no choice but to try to share the burden with Snape and Harry. Before that, he was probably prepared to handle it alone. On both sides, Dumbledore and Voldemort are unreliable, speechless. Chapter 52, Ritual of the God of Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A lot of sacrifices were actually unnecessary at the beginning. Dumbledore should have tried to trust the next generation, share more of his burden, and train them. Even if you only cultivate character, love, friendship, and courage, these will not affect the practice of magic, and may even have a bonus. These are the sources of the subsequent advancement of advanced magic, even though these positive magics often only involve defense and protection. Just like Lily Evans can sacrifice her life and use a spell containing maternal love to rebound Voldemort to death, but cannot defeat him head-on. If every little wizard puts on such a shield, what is there to fear about Voldemort, and how can dark wizards survive? No. Thinking skills are running fast for no reason. Ryan's subconscious and wizard intuition suddenly discovered something. No. It should be something gained. Killing among Peveril is taboo. That shouldn't be the case. James Potter is also the descendant of Ignotus. That's right. That's why Voldemort, who has always been proficient in making Horcruxes, has an unstable soul and made Harry Potter, an unprecedented living Horcrux, and has never been discovered. He killed his blood relative. James Potter, although Dumbledore guessed that Voldemort made too many Horcruxes, it was also because he didn't know Peveril. The three brothers were named Antioch, Cadmus, and Ignotus. This was the revelation that Ryan got when he unconsciously returned to the Smith alchemy hut for a short time in his sleep after discovering the empty grave of Ignotus Peveril in Godric's Hollow, and he only discovered it now. Voldemort, who is the descendant of Cadmus Peveril, the owner of the Resurrection Stone, and the heir of Slytherin, Gaunt, killed the descendant of Ignotus Peveril, the owner of the Invisibility Cloak, and James Potter. Taboo. Taboo. The curse of death fell on Voldemort's hands. This is why the children of prophecy are Harry, Neville, and the original Lane Smith. In the process of Voldemort's marking, he will definitely kill his own blood relatives, commit taboos, and eventually fail. Voldemort's previous act of killing all Riddles, his paternal Muggle blood, made him pure and powerful in terms of magic, and because his soul was still intact, out of some intuition and the mentality of finding a scapegoat, he inexplicably left Morphin Gaunt's life. If he had made a lot of Horcruxes at that time, and did not notice the strange intuition in his blood, and killed Morphin directly, he would probably have died inexplicably before Harry was born. Then there is only one last question left: is destroying Voldemort's Horcrux considered killing a blood relative? Lane asked himself in his heart, although judging from Harry's ending, it should not be considered. This is also why Harry only used the disarming spell. Voldemort was killed by rebounding, and it was not considered killed by Harry, so Harry spent the rest of his life peacefully. Although Ryan himself is also considered a child of prophecy, is he still considered one after traveling through time? Intuition says yes, but what if he goes to destroy the Horcruxes and accidentally fails like Dumbledore for various inexplicable reasons? Let Harry and Neville go, although intuitively killing the cursed Voldemort and destroying the Horcruxes are not considered blood killings among the Peverils, but what if? His life is very precious. Unless he reaches the realm of God later, Ryan does not plan to deal with the Horcruxes himself in the short term. Moreover, the British wizard circle is so small, and they are all related by marriage. Why are Ryan, Harry, and Neville the children of prophecy? Is it the concentration of blood? Or is it the inheritance of the surname? Harry inherited Potter, Neville is Longbottom, Ryan is Smith, and Voldemort is Gaunt. As for whether the three Peveril brothers are due to the death ritual, the youngest Ignotus Peveril won and became the god of the afterlife, or the three of them are the descendants of the death god, it is harmless. Death still exists, and his identity is not important. His smooth mastery of the death curse may also be related to Peveril. If Ignotus Peveril is really the death, why did he cast the curse after a cruel struggle to obtain the position of the death? He indirectly killed his blood relatives. Pay more attention to what you lack. Ryan took out a cup of black tea from the void with his hand, drank it lightly, and temporarily put down his thoughts. Kate came out. Ryan, what are you thinking about? Kate sat next to Ryan and took the black tea naturally. No, I just think that this trip is really meaningful. Ryan said with a double meaning, yes, if it weren't for this trip, I wouldn't know the names of the three brothers, and there is a possible magic ritual of the death. This ritual is possible after thinking, three powerful wizards, three indelible artifacts that have always existed in the material world, three forms of death, and the story of the three brothers who have been miscarried for a long time. Everything is three. The last one to die, the one who survives to the end, is the master of the death, the winner. So is Ignotus Peveril the god of death, or is he the descendant of the god of death, or is it both? This position is either a test from the god of death of the three brothers' ancestor, or a position born through legends and wizard thoughts. The eldest brother chose the Rod of Fate, the strongest wand. The second brother chose the Resurrection Stone, the power of the god of death. The third brother was the most cautious and chose the invisibility cloak that could hide from the god of death. Finally, the third brother, Ignotus, won and inherited or became the god of death. Interesting, which one is it? This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. Ryan considered continuing to think, but the strong wizard intuition honed by the reconnaissance skill made him give up temporarily. These three artifacts are also becoming stronger with the blessing of legends and wizard thoughts. Will the master of the god of death in the story start a new test again? In the afterlife of the original book, Dumbledore's original words. Perhaps one person among a million people can possess all the Hallows at the same time, Harry. I am only suitable for the most insignificant and unremarkable of them. I am suitable for the Elder Wand, and I cannot boast about it or kill people with it. I can tame it and use it, because I take it not to ask for it, but to save others. As for the invisibility cloak, I take it purely out of meaningless curiosity, so it can't be as useful to me as it is to you. You are its real master. For that stone, I want to pull those sleepers back by force, not like you, to help yourself achieve self-sacrifice. You are truly qualified to own the Hallows. As for using the Fate Stick to save others, using the invisibility cloak and the resurrection stone with self-sacrificing qualities, this is the new test of the god of death. After Harry Potter dies, like Ignotus, the tomb is empty and he becomes the new god of death. Is this disaster just a test from God? What happened to Ryan, Neville, and Harry's parents is just because of this simple reason. It's ridiculous, but will the Fate Stick and the Elder Wand be as useful to Ryan or Neville as the invisibility cloak is only useful to Harry? Neville's grandmother doesn't value the wand. Is it because her grandson should have a stronger wand that is constantly passed on in death and killing? Smith, who is also a descendant of the eldest brother Antioch Peveril, focuses on alchemy. Did he give up the inheritance of the Elder Wand and prepare to make a new wand and hide himself? The more I think about it, the more I find that this simple fairy tale is full of traps. Chapter 53 Lockhart's New Book. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ryan suddenly felt lucky again. If there was no system, he would dive into this seemingly simple fairy tale. Being familiar with the original work, he would act with the simplest strategy. In the end, he might encounter some unspeakable power, of course. If he is just too cautious, as the descendant of Peveril, he himself will not be stopped, and he may become the god of death. Ryan, what are you looking at? Kate tilted her head and looked at the cover of the book I was holding. It has long been Ryan's habit to read a book and spend the rest of the time thinking about other things. The Tales of Beetle the Poet. Ryan raised the book in his hand. Ah, I stopped reading this when I was 5 years old. Kate proudly took out an unknown vampire novel. Reading is indeed the best way to socialize among Ravenclaws. Accompanied by the sound of rustling books, Ryan relaxed and fell into sleep unconsciously. Early the next morning, Ryan got up from the bed, pushed away Kate who put her feet in front of his nose, and put on a brand new wizard robe with a thought. Wizard robes are convenient and loose, and you can wear anything underneath them. Ryan sat in a surprisingly beautiful lounge and looked out the window, which was still gray, as if he sensed someone waking up. A cup of hot black tea, chickpeas, bread, and grilled sausage appeared on the table. Ryan took out the Daily Prophet next to the sofa and read it slowly while having a simple breakfast. Turning to the 13th page, the article showed the usual photo that made people physically uncomfortable: a woman wearing a pair of jeweled glasses, her blonde hair styled into delicate curls, her teeth exposed, and a beautiful smile that she thought was very charming. Smiling, wagging his fingers towards Ryan. This smile is the same as Lockhart's. The smile shows 8 teeth, but Lockhart is still handsome. Is Rita Skeeter the only one who has no talent? Let me see, what did this woman say? Ryan complained unabashedly and drank a cup of black tea. Gilderoy Lockhart's writing style is known for his elegance and romance, and he himself is as easygoing and handsome as in the book. In his warm and comfortable home, he greeted me in the foyer and led me straight into the kitchen for tea, a slice of cake heavy in sugar and fat, and of course, freshly baked, steamy conversation. Needless to say, Gilderoy Lockhart is a man of dreams, said Skeeter. He is a handsome and fearless wizard who has solved countless problems during his long journey. He is also a famous author. Gilderoy Lockhart teaches you how to get rid of pests from home is a book worth reading for many families, and I believe there will be many wizards who will buy it in the future. Gilderoy is undoubtedly a fast player. This 500-page guide was written during Lockhart's 2-week journey. I asked him how he could do it so quickly. Well, when you've written as many books as I have and love to travel, then scrambling for time becomes second nature. I know there are a lot of wizarding families who are hungry for a comprehensive guide to ridding their homes of pests, and I hope this is one that satisfies this need. I mentioned the most widely circulated comment in the Daily Prophet. He claimed to be a classmate of Gilderoy's. He said, Gilderoy Lockhart is a character who gives all his classmates a headache. The stories in his books what he did was less credible than a chocolate frog card. Lockhart looked up and laughed. Lovely old classmate. I still remember that I claimed that I could make the Philosopher's Stone before graduation, and planned to lead the England Quidditch team to win the World Cup, and eventually became the youngest Minister of Magic in the UK. But that doesn't mean I can't to accomplish great things. I work to rid the world of evil and sell my own line of hair conditioners. However, many media reprinted messages from classmates claiming to be Gilderoy Lockhart, saying that he was a narcissist and a disgusting person who carved his name on the Quidditch pitch in 20-foot-long letters, which made him locked up for a week, had his likeness projected into the sky like the Dark Mark, sent himself 800 Valentine's Day cards, and had to cancel breakfast because of the large amount of owl droppings and feathers into cereal. How could such a wizard become an outstanding wizard who has won the 3rd-class Order of Merlin, an honorary member of the Anti-Dark Arts Alliance, and won the Wizard Weekly Most Charming Smile Award 5 times? Oh, my dear, said Lockhart, beaming, patting my hand affectionately, you know as well as I do that with a head of beautiful curls, a fearless energy, and a beautiful and with the sharp shorthand peacock quill pen, you can write so many words in your spare time. Moreover, I am from the smartest Ravenclaw house. You know, not everyone will honestly recognize a person's excellence. However, these rumors and slanders can long be regarded as jokes, because if you have followed me and my journey, you can find many obvious sources. With Dumbledore's permission, I once ran a school newspaper at Hogwarts and accumulated rich writing experience. Throughout my journey, you will find that the female ghosts of Wanluan, the ghouls of Greece, the vampires of Northern Europe, the trolls of Poland, the snowmen of XZ, the dominatrix of Germany and other incidents were all solved after I passed by. It is also written one by one in the book. Gilderoy Lockhart's new guidebook GG makes it clear that for those who are troubled by pests in their homes, a comprehensive and effective method awaits them. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. So what's most surprising about the methods he discovered? Okay, stop talking, Rita, I won't reveal the most exciting content before everyone buys the book. Gilderoy laughed and said, but I can guarantee that anyone who thinks they are very good people who are good at housekeeping magic will wake up from their dreams after reading my guide. Those whose job is to clean up pests will have a simple and effective method that they have never dreamed of. Yes, Gilderoy Lockhart teaches you how to rid your home of pests is such a useful and magical guide that every wizarding family should have. That I asked Lockhart if the book dealt with all pests. Oh, goblins are just the simplest kind, Lockhart said with a smile. No, the pests involved in the book are far more serious than goblins, and even worse than the vixens that often breed on curtains. No, they are all the pests you can't imagine encountering in your home. Despite all these accolades, could Gilderoy be able to challenge the expertise of other home cleaning companies in areas he didn't understand? Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned other home cleaning companies, Gilderoy Lockhart said with a suggestive smile. Companies that live by the magic of simple living. Be prepared. People read me after reading the book. We have to conclude that household cleaning is no longer a matter monopolized by certain wizard families and groups. Gilderoy would not say more about this interesting subject, so we turn to the question that will undoubtedly interest the reader the most. Oh, that's right, Gilderoy nodded repeatedly. On August 1st, my masterpiece Gilderoy Lockhart Teaches How to Get Rid of Pests from Your Home will be available in major bookstores. I asked Gilderoy if he had any new works recently or if he had done anything great that no one knew about. Oh, yes, a new work about me eradicating evil and raping in a foreign country, Lockhart said. Not every act I did will be written in the book. Some of them involve the privacy of the parties involved and the country. I can't say more. Not to mention writing. The conversation naturally turned to the shampoo developed by Gilderoy. Does Gilderoy's shampoo have any groundbreaking breakthrough compared to Porter's? Oh, I don't want to say too much, I'm just introducing my new book this time, although my shampoo innovatively uses egg yolks from birds and snakes to make the hair more shiny. Potter's shampoo has long been outdated. Well, if this ridiculous old man Newt Scamander hadn't said that birds and snakes were endangered, my shampoo would have sold even more. After he said this tantalizing statement, I took my leave. There is no doubt that Gilderoy Lockhart's book will be an instant bestseller. Home cleaning companies, on the other hand, will probably tremble in fear that some of their methods of cheating money will be revealed and no longer available for use. After reading the last line, Ryan's head was full of black lines. My dear, if you write a book, it will be published in the Daily Prophet, and even Rita Skeeter will support this. Lockhart is indeed the top figure in the wizarding world and the dream lover of countless middle-aged and elderly witches. Selling a book is not enough, and cutting leaks is not enough. Let's start with shampoo. It is estimated that other simple methods in this book will also involve some unique magic cleaners. Even home cleaning companies aren't trembling with fear, they're probably trembling with joy, and Lockhart must be working with one of them. Moreover, the shampoo also uses the egg yolks of endangered magical creatures such as birds and snakes as raw materials. If the protection of magical creatures were not as perfect as the Muggle world, he would definitely be arrested. Shampoo is so expensive, what's the difference between this and an unscrupulous businessman claiming that eating shark fin is good for your health? Gilderoy Lockhart and Rita Skeeter are both Ravenclaw scum. There is no doubt that they can get along well by relying on their intelligence, but without exception, they are all trying to get by. One relies on the forgetting spell to deceive other people's experiences to write a book, and the other relies on turning an animagus into a beetle to steal privacy and write news. Both of them have very good magical talents. One relied on the Oblivion Curse to confuse many powerful wizards who could be called the protagonists in the travel notes. The other even mastered Ani, which only 7 wizards in the 20th century had mastered. Mags, although there are only a lot of them registered, there are still some that are not registered, such as Harry's father's 4-man bandit. Lockhart does have great abilities, and he is smarter than most of his classmates, but his biggest flaw is that he is unwilling to try unless he is the best, and he prefers to take shortcuts. Rita Skeeter pays more attention to her paparazzi career and works hard for it, including mastering the animagus. Both of them were content with pleasure, slaves of the golden gallon, wasting their talents, and a wizard living as a vulgar mortal. It is a pity that their character weaknesses and subsequent behaviors are due to their failure to truly realize what is the greatest thing in this world. Only magic is a matter worth studying for a wizard's life. With magic, everything is possible. Even love can be obtained through love potions. Immortality can be obtained through the Philosopher's Stone. In terms of dominance, like Dumbledore, he can be the position he wants. Even the Minister of Magic can easily obtain it. As long as he wants. What else does Hogwarts teach besides magic? Magic is powerful because of the mind. The changed wizards have no mental health education, and they have formed small groups and split. University or education reform is imminent. Ryan, what are you doing? Kate, who changed into a common blue wizard robe, looked at Ryan with a frown in confusion. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Read the newspaper. It turned out to be Rita Skeeter, the annoying guy. Kate wrinkled her nose. Why? Ryan asked curiously. In Hogwarts, no, some annoying guys in Ravenclaw call me Rita Skeeter too. Kate's beautiful brown eyes ignited with rare anger. This guy has ruined the reputation of our Ravenclaw, and he has no aesthetic taste. She has beautiful blonde hair like Penelope, but she makes her hair into delicate, stiff, weird curls. She has a big chin, so she should let her hair down to make her face look smaller and cover up the flaws, but this combination is particularly awkward. She also wears a pair of glasses inlaid with jewels, which is tacky. Her fingers are fat and thick, and she keeps her nails 2 inches long and paints them red, for fear that others don't know that her hands are ugly. Every time she takes a photo, besides her big chin, her claws are the center. In addition, her eyebrows are also painted very thick, and she has 3 gold teeth in her mouth. Kate complained about all the appearance characteristics of Rita Skeeter in a long list. From a female perspective, Rita is actually like this? Ryan said that he had learned a lot. It's not that men don't know how to complain about some appearance characteristics, but they rarely understand them better than women. When complaining about a person, people often start from the aspects they are good at. That's right, Kate's outfit makes people ignore her short and flat features. She must be very knowledgeable in this area. Okay, but this report is about Gilderoy Lockhart's new book. Ryan interrupted reluctantly. Kate was complaining about the bright green and crocodile leather bags that didn't match Rita, and the magenta robe also looked tacky. Lockhart, the big mouth. Kate suddenly came to her senses. I know him, Ryan, you mentioned him when you talked about vampires before. When vampires were mentioned, Kate became energetic again. What book? Doing housework. Ryan replied. Doing housework? Wizards. Ha 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 ha. Kate seemed to be tickled and rolled on the sofa with laughter. After a long period of crisp laughter, Ryan learned from Kate that wizards and family magic, this combination is a joke in the British wizarding world. Well, Lockhart really didn't care about his face in order to cut leaks. Chapter 54 The Holy 28 Saints. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thanks to Merlin, because of the combination of Lockhart and housework magic, this joke made Kate laugh all the time, and also infected Ryan for no reason. eye continued to flip through the Daily Prophet. There was nothing else that could be called funny. Most of the others were sharp remarks that seemed to criticize the current situation and insignificant accusations against the current situation in the Ministry of Magic. It is worth mentioning that most of the accused were marginal departments and some inconspicuous decisions, such as Arthur Weasley's office for prohibiting the abuse of Muggle items, the material and size requirements of crucibles, etc. There was no mention of the reduction of Hogwarts' financial expenditure and the use of political means to increase the difficulty of applying to open a potion shop. Newspapers like this that seem to be fearless of power are terrible. No wonder Harry claimed that after Voldemort was resurrected, the Ministry of Magic influenced most wizards and people only through the Daily Prophet. When it comes to Arthur Weasley, we have to sigh that their family is full of loyalists. After Ryan traveled through time, he also found that Molly Weasley's original surname was Pruitt, one of the so-called Holy 28 Saints. Hagrid once said to Harry that Voldemort was terrible, as long as he decided to kill someone, no one could escape the disaster, only you survived. He killed some outstanding male and female wizards at the time, such as the McKinnon family, the Bones family, and the Pruitt brothers. You are the only one who survived the disaster. The Pruitt brothers are Gideon Pruitt and Fabian Pruitt, who are also members of the Order of the Phoenix and Molly Weasley's brothers. At that time, Molly Weasley was not a member of the Order of the Phoenix because she was raising her own children. According to tradition, wizards will get a watch when they come of age. The gold watch that Harry Potter got on his 17th birthday was Fabian Pruitt's. However, even though he was full of loyal and brave people, Arthur Weasley did not receive any heroic treatment. He was assigned to a marginal department. Although he was a leader and no one could control him, he could also compile his own laws. This actually has nothing to do with Arthur Weasley's contribution. The main reason is that Weasley also belongs to the Holy 28. A little-known point is that his parents are Septimus Weasley and Cedrella Black, and Black is also a member of the Holy 28. His mother was expelled from the Black family tree because she married Weasley, who was called a pure-blood traitor. The Holy 28, also known as the Pure-Blood 28, are the 28 British wizard families that remain true pure blood until the 1930s. However, the surname Potter is more common in the Muggle world, and the members of the Potter family have expressed their positive views on Muggles outspokenly, resulting in them not being included in the pure blood 28 despite their pure blood, like Hannah Abbott, Ollivander, Crouch, Neville Longbottom, Borgin and Burke in the original book. They all belong to the Holy 28. There is no need to mention the well-known Malfoy, Black, and Weasley. They must be in it. Smith, for example, is not well known at all. However, since Longbottom, who is also the descendant of the blood of the eldest Peverell, has entered, why should Smith enter? This is similar to the Forbes pig killing list, both of which represent the conservative wizard group that excludes Muggles. Just like the Weasleys openly approach Muggles, they feel regretful and dissatisfied about being one of the 28 pure-blood families. This also makes some pure-blood Malfoy, Black and others in the list feel disgusted, and together with some purebloods who want to enter but cannot, they begin to call Weasley pure-blood traitors. This is also why Molly Pruitt eloped and married Arthur Weasley. Weasley's reputation is too stinky in the eyes of conservative purebloods. Ryan smacked his lips, drank a sip of black tea, and sighed silently at the pureblood list he took out. Looking out the window, the sky gradually became brighter and the sun gradually rose. Kate jumped up and down on the side, venting her excess energy. This dragon meat is really useful. Ryan looked at Kate, who was still trotting in circles. What the zombie trail looks like is really exciting. After throwing the outdated pure-blood list into his pocket, Ryan pretended to stretch his body. After all, he had already been able to keep his body at its peak with his body transformation level 4. About 10 minutes later, a low and soothing dragon roar came from the dragon's throat, giving people a solemn and epic feeling. The zombie trail has arrived. Fortunately, the exit is not the back end of the dragon. Although it is not a real dragon, it is definitely not psychologically acceptable. The exit is the same as the entrance. When it comes out of the stomach, the passage becomes an ordinary staircase. To be honest, I am a little disappointed at this time. If it is the back, even if it is physically uncomfortable, it is at least novel. After coming out, Ryan looked at the huge creature behind him. Its green scales sparkled in the morning sun, and its dark golden eyes seemed to be staring at Ryan and the others. Its neck was lowered to the ground, and two long golden horns were on both sides of its head, making people want to climb it. "Mr. Ryan, Ms. Kate, welcome to Zombie Avenue." The thin wizard took off his hat, bent down and pointed to a path that was easily overlooked. It was not accurate to call it a path. Although the road was all dark yellow soil, it was unexpectedly flat. When you walked on it, there was not even a bit of soil stuck to your shoes. The bushes on both sides rustled across the clothes, and when you looked closely, there was a flobberworm hidden in the corner, and a skinny little devil was pressing it and feasting on it. Not far away, a small wooden house came into view. It looked particularly deep in the forest that was not yet fully lit. On the left side of the house was a quiet lake, and on the right was a large flat cemetery. It was winding and winding. Looking along the woods, you could not see the edge. Is this the zombie trail? Trail. I'm afraid it's not a tower defense game, and you stay in the cabin at night to resist the invasion of these zombies. If you plant a few more whomping willows, I'm afraid it will really be considered Plants vs. Zombies. Next, everyone will stay in this wooden house until tomorrow evening. Every night at 6 o'clock, the zombies will revive. The wooden house is a safe zone. Unlike the previous journey, you can use magic at will. The thin wizard introduced, and then walked back leisurely. Why don't you use apparition? Kate looked at the thin wizard who accidentally fell in the distance. Maybe it hasn't been issued yet. Ryan sighed as he looked at the long cemetery on the right. There is another thing, using magic at will, which means Ryan can finally release it to his heart's content. However, although ordinary magic traces can be repaired by restoring them to their original state, if it is a poisonous curse, a vicious curse, or even a curse, it is estimated that these zombies will have to be replaced by a new batch. Pray for the horror journey in advance. I can only hope that I will not be too reckless tonight. Ryan took Kate's hand and slowly opened the door. Chapter 55 Lamora Fish. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was still early, and the breeze blew across the lake, stirring up waves. Under the clear lake, you can still see the silver Lamora fish, which is really rare. It shouldn't appear here. Kate, what do you think this is? Ryan, who likes to teach others, asked. Well, let me see, fish. Kate stood on tiptoe and looked down at the lake from the window. A dozen silver fish were shining like fleeting meteors. What fish? I don't know. Kate answered word by word, rolling her eyes. In her opinion, Ryan probably wanted to play the teacher-student game again. I don't know what kind of demon Penelope released during the intensive review for the final exam, although it was very interesting and handsome. As a Ravenclaw, I didn't get tired of it, but just like the delicious burgers, you will get bored if you eat too much. Kate felt that she was in a happy trouble at this time. This is a Lamora fish, a magical creature that lives in the Indian Ocean. Kate, do you know what kind of magic it has? It targets ships. Here's a tip. Well, there is a fish that has magic very similar to its magic. It was discovered by Muggle scholars. It's called a fish. Its English name is Remora, which is very similar to Lamora. The biggest feature of this type of fish is that it has a suction cup on its head, which can be used to attach to other large fish to move. Ryan suggested. Suction cup. Attachment. Target ships. Aha, I know, it slows down the ship. Kate answered with a fist. That's right. It has strong magic power and can fix ships at sea. It is the guard of sailors. It is also a creature that wizards are not allowed to poach in the anti-poaching law formulated by the International Confederation of Wizards. Its magic power is actually very similar to the superstition of the fish, that is, the fish attached to the hull can slow down or stop the ship from moving forward. However, this superstition is likely to come from the Lamora fish. The Lamora fish is the reason why the ancient Greek wizard Mark Antony died in the Battle of Actium. At the same time, this fish accidentally caused the death of Caligula. This legend has also been passed down in the Muggle world, but the Lamora fish has become a fish. Ryan concluded, and then closed the window. Ryan noticed that Kate's little face had been blown a little red by the cold wind. "Ah, but Ryan, I didn't see the sucker you mentioned." Kate seemed to notice something and deliberately said something stupid. "The one with the sucker is a mullet, discovered by a Muggle scholar. But there are Lamora fish here. Could it be that this lake is connected to the Indian Ocean, or was it brought here by the wizards on the horror journey?" Ryan touched his chin and speculated. "But it's unlikely. Zombies are all in Southern America, and the Indian Ocean is too far away from here." Kate suggested. "No, a strong confusion spell has been cast here, and the horror journey did not say that this is America. Zombies are a specialty of America, but this does not mean. It does not mean that it must be America." Kate continued. "But with your skills, Ryan, it should be easy to detect where this is." "No, this is a secret. You can guess which guess I made is correct." Ryan concluded with a bad taste. "You little devil." Kate almost said this out loud. Kate is a person who likes to get to the bottom of things, and this question will surely make her entangled until lunch. "Who told me to be bothered by Ignotus's problem just now?" Ryan thought, it was not because the zombies had made a fool of themselves in Africa, but, Chilo, wait for me. "Ryan, tell me where this is. Which guess is right? Have you been digging a pit since you told me about the Lamora fish?" So under Kate's painful mask, time soon came to around 11 o'clock, a burst of light music came from the second floor, like the sound of raindrops on grass and leaves, and a spicy and tempting fragrance also floated from upstairs. "Lunchtime is here." Ryan reminded Kate, who was still holding her arms and torturing herself with a tablet. "Aha, I can judge by food." Kate let go of Ryan like an electric shock and rushed to the second floor. "Good guy, this is also possible." But that's right, in Romania, Ryan and his friends enjoyed the local Romanian specialties. "Really looking forward to it. Can Kate find it?" Ryan smiled and stepped on the sizzling ladder and went to the second floor. What caught my eye was the bright yellow, colorful carpet, followed by the dining table next to the balcony, which was filled with chickpeas, steak, potatoes, fried chicken and pasta. Kate sat aside in disappointment, the sun shining on her beautiful nose, and her whole body seemed to be dyed yellow. Was the designer of this cottage from Hufflepuff? Ryan joked. Kate was unmoved and fiercely tore off a large piece of meat from the chicken leg. Seeing that even Hufflepuff could not attract Kate's attention, she should know that if it was normal, she would have complained about Hufflepuff's bad taste. "Well, Kate, India was once ruled by Britain, so these English lunches are also. It also means that this is India." "Aha, Ryan, you have been fooled." Kate jumped up suddenly. "And the carpet in the wooden house is still bright yellow, it must be Hufflepuff's bad aesthetics." This chapter is not over yet, please click the next page to continue reading. Time soon came to night, the lights in the house suddenly went out, and the roar of zombies began to come from the right side of the wooden house. "Ryan, is there no dinner here?" Kate's voice suddenly sounded in the dark corner. As soon as the voice fell, heavy metal and passionate tunes covered the roar of the zombies. The lake's surface was shining, it was Lamora fish. The Lamora fish began to rotate around the center of the lake, and a stone platform emerged from under the water. Water kept dripping around it, but the center was dry. Then, the Lamora fish gathered at the place where the stone platform led to the wooden house, and a silver, underwater bridge was built. Ryan pulled Kate, stepped on the water, and walked towards the stone platform. It was really like a dream. If it was an ordinary wizard, he could walk on the water. It would probably be a long-term topic of conversation. "This money is really worth spending," squeak. When Ryan and Kate stepped onto the stone platform, 2 chairs and a stone table rose in the middle, filled with Indian rice and various pastes, that is, curry, curry chicken, curry eggs, curry chickpeas, all curry, and masala pancakes, served with fried noodles. There were also raw green peppers and onions as side dishes. Fortunately, there were tableware, otherwise the dreamlike scenes in front would probably have been in vain. The Rumula fish had dispersed and dived to the bottom of the lake. And the roar of the zombies just now was only heard from a distance, and the zombies in the nearby graves were still lying well. Otherwise, with the smell of zombies, how could we eat dinner? Kate, eat first, the zombies are probably not far away. Ryan reminded. Chapter 56: A Date with Zombies. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The water surface, the lake, the bright moon, and the cold light from the stone table make this scene really fascinating, but the increasingly clear roars and the rustling of zombies crawling out of the grave are creepy, and the cold-toned lighting also adds an uncomfortable color to the atmosphere. The strong curry flavor and the fiery feeling entering the body barely dispelled the discomfort. At this time, almost an hour had passed since the meal. The magic on the plate kept the curry still hot. Surprisingly, as more and more zombies woke up, the unpleasant smell disappeared. Pass it over. Ah, we won't just sit on this stone table at night, even though there is food. You can also eat while watching zombies, but it's too boring. My wand is almost rusty. Kate was restless. Let's go, follow me first. Ryan took Kate's hand and stepped on the seemingly calm lake. How could it be? Kate jumped up and down on the water in surprise. There are many Lamora fish in this lake. Under the influence of the magic power of so many fish, even if these fish do not form a bridge like just now, they can still be on the flat ground without applying any extra magic. Ryan explained. These are also introduced in the manual in the dragon's belly. Is there a manual? I didn't read it. Kate replied confidently. Besides, wouldn't it be boring if we all read the guide? That when I came back to the wooden house, I looked to the right and saw stars dotted with green light, like flying fireflies. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be the eyes of a zombie. Is this the romantic firefly in the manual? Ryan exclaimed. The author of this manual is really evil. It may be that the aesthetics of Indian wizards are different from normal people. There were more and more green spots floating in the air, and a smell like smelly socks that had been left out for a long time in the summer came from the air and became stronger and stronger. Good guy, this smell can kill people. As he said this, Ryan cast 2 head-soaking spells on himself and Kate without using a wand. Kate, I kind of understand why you are only interested in the living dead like vampires. Why do you say that suddenly? Kate took out her wand and wiped it with the hem of her clothes. Vampires like to be clean. It's hard to say that with zombies and ghouls. Zombies are ugly and smelly. Ghouls are ugly but not smelly. You can't say that. Although the ghoul is slimy and has buck teeth, it is very useful and feeds on spiders and moths. The only drawback is that it is noisy and always makes noise. This also led to many wizarding families raising him, usually in the attic or barn of the wizard's home. With him, mosquitoes, rats and some common pests in wizards' homes, such as foxes and goblins, will not come close to the house. So, Lockhart's new book is not as useful as raising a ghoul. However, some wealthy wizard families don't keep house elves because they have house elves and the ghouls are ugly. Kate emphasized and tried waving the wand. Judging from the trajectory, it was probably a sticky foot spell. Shoes stick to the ground, a poisonous spell. The rich wizard Ryan touched his nose. It turns out that this is a low-end version of a house elf, raised by ordinary wizarding families. It's no wonder that I don't know much about it. The Smith family has never been poor from the beginning. Even pests can rely on alchemy products, especially after there are house elves in the future. It's no wonder why there are ghouls in Weasley's burrow, and why goblins only appear in their gardens. Yeah, a hand that had been dry and bleeding with pus suddenly emerged from the nearest tombstone. The ground was like fluid with no ridges. A zombie with gray skin and dressed as a poor man slowly rose from the ground. Shoes are sticky. Kate, who had been prepared, chanted the spell loudly, and the white beam suddenly hit the unlucky zombie. I saw green slime emerging from his feet, and his feet were firmly stuck to the ground. Click. Maybe he sensed the aura of the creature. He kept waving his hands, and tried his best to move forward, but his legs broke off by himself, and he walked directly on the broken feet. It's so disgusting. Although it's just a zombie, it looks so uncomfortable. It feels like my foot is broken. Ryan said in disgust. Okay, it's game time. Ryan used magic power to condense a red light blade on the White Knight. This is a special use of Shenfeng Wuying. After all, although Shenfeng Wuying has a counter-curse, it cannot just be called a curse. Or it's a poison spell, it's pure black magic, a curse. If it is really used, there may not be a single zombie that can be repaired after tonight, apparition physics. Ryan relied on his body, and at a speed that could not be observed by the naked eye, he neatly and elegantly divided the zombies into 5 equal parts around the zombies that emerged one after another. Kate on the side, from time to time, used spells such as shattering to pieces and rapid confinement, hitting zombies one after another that Ryan had specially left for Kate. On the right side of the wooden house, the seemingly endless tide of corpses just now moved from far to near at a speed visible to the naked eye, and slowly disappeared. It's so comfortable, this feeling is so high. Ryan was so excited to kill that he even extended the lightsaber to dozens of meters, holding the White Knight diagonally, and a 100-meter long section suddenly appeared, with zombies, tombstones, everything divided into 2. It's really boring. Ryan soon came to the end, about 2 kilometers away. Can such a long cemetery be considered a zombie trail? Ryan touched the non-existent sweat droplets and looked at the zombies behind him that were almost completely killed. Leave the rest to Kate. After the voice fell, Ryan disappeared from the spot. The next moment, Ryan appeared behind Kate. Ryan, you are back. Are you tired? Kate turned her body and asked with concern. As for the others, the wooden house was originally a safe zone and the zombies could not get close. Well, I'm tired. You can play again. Ryan said and turned back to the stone platform. After venting, Ryan admired Kate, who was still casting spells with the still hot curry. Fragmented into pieces. The zombies were completely divided into pieces. Obstacles. The crawling or slow-moving zombies became slower. Quickly imprison. Several approaching zombies were tied together by invisible chains. It was really interesting. The spell that was originally used to lock the door was actually used in this way. Ryan even suspected that Kate had played the game of the pig farm and also crossed over. Kate, use the slide flat, this will save more magic. Be careful, imagine that the slide is not tilted towards you. Ryan reminded. The slide is flat. The ground suddenly turned into a stone slide, and the zombies rolled back one after another in a funny way. Then the thunder exploded. Ryan reminded again, then with Kate's explosion spell, the zombies disappeared and the game ended. Chapter 57 Peeves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Whirl, it was the sound of the evening breeze blowing through the flat cemetery. In just 30 minutes, the endless tide of corpses had turned into fragments all over the ground, and even the tombstones were no longer human-shaped. There were also some scattered zombie heads, still screaming stubbornly, with the green eyes glowing in the night. If you don't look closely, it's pretty good guy. It seems that the beautiful fireflies in the mouth of Indian wizards are still worthy of their name. Ryan, that's it. It's over like this. Kate stared at her big cat eyes, full of disappointment. Kate, you can wait a little longer. Ryan pointed to a zombie with only half of its head left nearby with a mysterious smile. Look. Kate looked at the position Ryan pointed, and saw a tombstone near the zombie began to shake slowly, without any special effects, obvious magic effects such as glowing. The ground seemed to come alive, and swallow the zombie's limbs and tombstone fragments again with a crackling sound. Then there was a sound of crackling coming from far to near. Ryan had already noticed that the biggest cost of the zombie trail was not the zombies, nor the Lamora fish, but this piece of land, the materials. Of the zombies are the corpses of the poor, and India is not short of these. Lamora fish is also a local specialty, and it doesn't cost money at all, and this piece of land has gathered at least hundreds of wizards, who cast complicated and solidified spells. For the later maintenance, only 1 or 2 wizards need to re-inject magic power. It can even be said that there is no need to inject. Few wizards can deal with so many corpses. Magic power is similar to physical strength for wizards. No matter how powerful a single spell is, it is a fantasy to want to deal with so many individuals at the same time. Unless it is a group attack spell such as Lihua and Thunder Explosion, in this way, the loss of corpses and tombstones is greatly reduced, and the magic contained in the consumed land is negligible. In addition, the wizards who come here to travel and live are all wizards. The extra magic power emitted by wizards at ordinary times is the best maintenance for this piece of land. This also caused one thing: the subsequent maintenance and the gold galleons that invited advanced wizards to inject magic were saved. The operation of Hogwarts Castle also relies on this principle, gathering all the young wizards and powerful professors in the UK, and some employees also live there during holidays. In this way, the magic magnetic field here becomes stronger and stronger. And the castle itself slowly becomes stronger like a living thing. It can even be said that Peeves, who was born with this building, has become an unprecedentedly powerful ghost. The powerful magic magnetic field and the students' dissatisfaction with learning and being disciplined gave birth to this unprecedented life form, which cannot be destroyed or bound, and symbolizes freedom. However, because of the reason for its birth, the freest ghost was also bound by Hogwarts. Peeves is very powerful, and this kind of power is not reflected in strength. After all, even Lupin's Wadawasi can expel him. His power is reflected in being unrestrained and indestructible. In 1876, the administrator at the time, Rancoros Carpe, was a qualified one, and he hated Peeves like all the previous administrators. The hatred of Peeves, inherited from the first caretaker, Henkleton Humble, led him to join forces with almost all the professors at the time to design a trap to drive Peeves away from the castle. The trap consisted of various weapons used as bait and a huge bell jar cast with multiple restraining spells. When Peeves was in the right position, the bell jar would fall and hold the mischievous spirit. But Peeves, threatened, easily blew up the bell jar and left with several scimitars, several crossbows, a large caliber muzzle-loading rifle and a small cannon. So Peeves began to shoot randomly for fun, not even caring about the rebuke of the Slytherin ghost, the Bloody Baron. In the end, the students' lives were threatened, the castle had to be evacuated, and teaching was suspended for 3 days. This was really a shocking and helpless thing for the wizarding community at the time. You know, Peeves was almost born with the entire building of Hogwarts. The biggest source of his composition came from the first batch of Hogwarts students, and the Bloody Baron was the most terrifying teacher at the time, just like Snape now. This is why Peeves is so afraid of the Bloody Baron, seeing that even Peeves did not listen to the last reign, the Bloody Baron, and with Peeves having guns and cannons, his magic power was truly manifested, with almost endless ammunition, difficult to be transformed, and weapons that could not be taken away. This expulsion can be said to have released the most perfect war machine, and its birth may also be guided by the 4 giants of Hogwarts. And finally, for this, when Hogwarts was invaded and Peeves' life was threatened, he would begin to change. The school motto of Hogwarts, the dragon in sleeping dragons, may even refer to him. 3 days later, Professor Eupraxia Moore, the then headmaster, knew that she was powerless to save the situation. In order to prevent Peeves from even taking out the cannon in the end, she had no choice but to sign an agreement with Peeves, with the privilege of being able to swim in the boys' bathroom on the first floor once a week, giving priority to the moldy bread in the kitchen to throw away, and getting a new hat specially made for him by Ms. Bonabile. Peeves gave up his weapons and returned to normal. This was the most disastrous and final attempt to get rid of Peeves. This incident also forced Mr. Calpe to retire early due to health reasons. It's really interesting. Will this zombie trail also be for collecting the fear of wizards and finally having its own poltergeist? Ryan thought, this chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. The wizards here are obviously not as powerful as the 4 giants, but it's true, the poltergeist is too useful. If Voldemort himself was not a student of Hogwarts, or even a descendant of Slytherin, the original owner of the castle, otherwise the final ending would probably be Peeves killing Voldemort. After all, although the poltergeist is not strong, Peeves has been in Hogwarts for thousands of years and is a growing horror monster. Although this is almost impossible, there are too many students in Hogwarts, and the Death Eaters have also studied in Hogwarts. When they were in school, they probably contributed to the continuation of Peeves, their dissatisfaction with the pressure of study and being controlled. In this case, it is difficult for Peeves to change to war mode, unless some blind Death Eater attacks Peeves with the death curse. Peeves can be considered as the first generation, but it is a pity that he did not become a population like his kind, the phoenix born from immortality and positive emotions. It's a pity, now few wizards can detect the power of Peeves. After all, a few simple prank spells can drive it away, and he is even afraid of a dead ghost. Even Ryan used his reconnaissance skills to detect the magic hidden under the seemingly simple Peeves when he was in Hogwarts as a phoenix. The most important component of Peeves, the wizard's emotions, or the wizard himself, is too terrible. Every wizard is like God, a natural reality twister, but there are too many gods, and they hold each other back, and they become wizards who can only use magic. The original stones born later, the Muggle-born wizards, are no longer as powerful as the first wizard. Pure blood is constantly weakened, slowly degenerating into a tool man who uses spells, and even a dud has appeared. Learning magic is more like regaining one's instincts, the powers that one possesses from the beginning, but is restrained by fellow wizards who are also gods. The process of regaining one's instincts is bound to fail, and after the dangerous magic transformation fails, magical creatures are born. Chapter 58, Spell Creation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, the zombie trail, which was noisy and full of fireflies, briefly regained its calm. Ryan, how long will it take for a new batch of zombies? Kate asked curiously, pulling Ryan's left hand, interrupting Ryan's rethinking of the wizard. About an hour. Ryan casually sensed the magic contained in the land opposite. Ah, it will take so long. Kate waved her wand boredly. It doesn't have to be that long. Just inject magic power to speed up the revival of zombies. Ryan reminded, this piece of land itself contains all the magic from the opening to the present. The reason why it recovered so slowly is mainly because almost all the zombies have been destroyed in form. Although there are no traces of magic above the poisonous curse left, the amount is too large, and even most of the tombstones have been destroyed. If such destruction happens more than 10 times, this cemetery and zombie trail can be said to be scrapped. For Ryan's own gaming experience, Ryan began to slowly sense this land, invisible and colorless, like a perpetual motion machine, began to slowly inject magic. Buzz. Buzz. All the tombstones began to shake slowly. As time went by, new tombstones slowly emerged from the ground. At this moment, even the invisible ghosts seemed to be born. Ryan stopped injecting magic. The birth of the ghost should not be now. If it is born now, the wizards behind the horror journey will definitely make trouble for this ghost, because the ghosts are immortal. Like ghosts, there is nothing to hide. Ryan and his friends should not encounter operations such as memory cleansing, but the whole journey is inevitably disturbed. However, this is a rare opportunity, because the poltergeist born from my magic will surely be like Peeves, afraid of the bloody baron. No, one step further, and obey my orders. In terms of image, I will redesign it when I leave. Although the alchemy hut in Smith's castle can move by itself, it cannot achieve the effect of Howl's moving castle without the manipulation of wizards. This poltergeist is the best furnace core of the castle. Ryan touched Kate's head beside him and thought. Huh. Ryan, you smile so evil. Kate looked at the boy in front of her, who started to smile evilly for some reason, with 2 points of disgust, 3 points of fascination, and 5 points of puzzlement. This little brat, is he thinking something bad? Forget it, what's there to be afraid of? He's just a little kid who hasn't grown all his hair yet. Kate rolled her smart eyes and encouraged herself. Really? Ryan touched his chin. I was thinking, it's great, the tombstone has been restored to its original state, and it must be not far from the zombies' revival. Really? Kate doubted. Look. Ryan pointed to a zombie that had crawled out again and changed the subject. In the dim night, the gray-skinned, ragged, pus-covered zombies roared again, and then, one zombie after another came out again. What Ryan found strange was that the clothes of the zombies, both men and women, had also been restored to their original state, and before, the clothes were like skin, sticking to them tightly. Do you want to develop a simple spell to remove clothes immediately? Ryan touched his chin curiously. This is not perverted, it's just like wizard scholars studying what is under the clothes of dementors, pure curiosity. Now for Ryan, developing spells is as simple as drinking water and eating. For example, for Ryan, if he wants to take off his clothes, as long as he is determined and has the belief that he wants to take off his clothes, the magic power will move with it. Then he can make up a spell and engrave it in the magic magnetic field. Later, he will try to cast the spell first and then use the magic power. After about 2 to 3 times, a new spell will be formed. When Ryan first discovered this, he also created many spells like a lunatic, and these spells can write a book. For example, the more useful ones are reading spells. Without using your eyes, you can tap the book lightly with your magic wand. As long as you maintain the expenditure of magic power, the content of the book will slowly flow into your mind. The lightsaber spell is a low-profile version of the Shenfeng Wuying. It has no venom and is not an invisible sword-shaped magic beam. It maximizes the sharpness. It is very cool and uses the magic wand as the hilt. It is very useful for Ryan. There are also some useless spells, such as the Berserk spell, which awakens the instinct to the maximum. In this state, magic power will be used to strengthen the body. With high mobility and magical instincts like casting a supersensory spell, it can quickly dodge spells and attack, and can also avoid the control effects of general spells, but Ryan himself has a body transformation skill of up to LV4, and with the combination of thinking and reconnaissance skills, it is not necessary at all. These magic spells are also very simple, very much in the style of Magic Sakura. The reading spell is read, the English version of reading, the lightsaber spell, sword, the Berserk spell, instinct is the English writing of instinct. After these spells are engraved into the magnetic field, it should be easy for young wizards to accidentally touch them, because they are in English, and some powerful wizards will also learn them without a teacher. Moreover, commonly used languages, or languages with a large base of people, are difficult to use as spells, and it can even be said that they cannot be used, because these languages have been used by muggles and wizards. They have their own concepts. You can't just randomly insert a sentence and use it as a name for a magical phenomenon to form a spell. Ryan was able to do it mainly because of the following 3 points. First, the idea represented by the spell itself is unified. Just like the packing spell, which is mainly used to pack luggage, it is extremely practical, but the effect of the spell is also affected by whether the caster is good at housework. Its spell is pack. When people say this word, they all use it to pack luggage, and they all have the idea of wanting to pack up the gifts, which is extremely unified. So, after an unknown housewife shouted this sentence and used magic to make the house tidy, it became a spell. Second, if it is not unified, other emotions, pronunciations, and gestures can be added as part. Just like the Berserk spell, Ryan added crazy emotions and a wonderful pronunciation that ordinary wizards cannot make, which made the spell take shape and successfully engraved in the magic magnetic field. Third, increase the requirements for willpower. The lightsaber spell is to simply imagine yourself as a sword, devote yourself to it, and shout sword. These necessary means of encryption and spell formation also prevent other wizards from easily downloading and learning these magical phenomena instinctively. Otherwise, any wizard can form a spell by saying fly, which is bad. You must be able to do it first. You have created the corresponding magical phenomenon, and then you can further consider naming it, and you cannot use common words, and you must combine it with the emotions when the magical phenomenon is born. This is why most of the spells in the UK are Latin or Greek root structures with changes, rather than directly in English. Chapter 59 The Birth of the Saw Ling. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just when Ryan was thinking about whether to create a spell, a crisp spell sound brought Ryan back to reality. Shattered into pieces. Kate waved her wand and chanted the spell loudly. Forget it. There is no need for a spell to take off clothes. I can take them off and change clothes as long as I want. Who can I teach a spell to? Ryan thought. Ryan put the White Knight and the Aspen wand into his pocket and took out the Black Knight, who had not appeared for a long time. The Black Knight was the posthumous work of Ryan's father George Smith, and was finally completed by Ryan. At the same time, it is also a replica of the Elder Wand, containing Smith's unique magic. As a replica of the Elder Wand, it not only has the power to accelerate and amplify spells, like the Sword of Gryffindor, which is also a replica of the Elder Wand, it has the same properties as the Elder Wand, that its owner will not be corrupted or erased by time, and can even absorb other powerful magic substances to become stronger. Guns have the characteristics of loading bullets. So what are the characteristics of the Black Knight, which looks like a gun? In addition to the fact that the Black Knight is similar to the old wand in craftsmanship, it can also not be corrupted or erased by time. It can also store magic like a gun. Its bullets are spells. It will remember the spells it has cast. As long as it inputs magic power, it can fire the light bullet condensed by the last spell. At the same time, because of memory, magic will be cast faster, and it can accelerate and amplify spells. It can be said that it is a must-have weapon for Ryan to travel at home and kill people, even because it is forged with Ryan's magic power. Although it does not reach the power imagined by George Smith, it also creates a strong endurance. A light bullet, after Ryan inputs more magic power, can make it split again and attack multiple wizards at the same time. Combined with the gun fighting technique specially created by Ryan for this purpose, it can be said that it can kill gods and Buddhas. When Ryan's fingertips touched it, the Black Knight automatically hummed, exuding the urge to release. Although Ryan had just output a large amount of magic power, he was still energetic. Ryan gently stroked the Black Knight and responded to this beloved weapon. Ryan provided the growth of zombie trail with his own strength, which was more related to the quality of Ryan's magic power. Wizards practice magic and use magic power, just like using muscles on their bodies. There is an effect, but it is not very obvious. In short, the growth of magic power has little to do with exercise. The source of magic power of wizards themselves is almost only related to age growth. The breakthrough of magic skills, the accumulation of knowledge, and the change of heart bring more qualitative changes to magic power. Even Dumbledore, the greatest white wizard, would not be too amazing in terms of magic power. The only difference from ordinary wizards is only reflected in the qualitative difference and the use of a magic that consumes less magic power. And Ryan, not only mastered the LV6 God of Shadowless, but also briefly obtained the power of the LV6 Death Curse, and even possessed the magic power of the Phoenix. In addition, as the heir of the Peveril family, the quality of this magic power can be imagined. The growth of the zombie trail no longer requires the accumulation of magic power, but a qualitative breakthrough. Simply put, it requires a Dumbledore-level wizard to provide magic power for 1 hour without interruption. Only Ryan, who is qualified in terms of quality and has an inexhaustible supply of magic power like an Ouroboros, can make the zombie trail's ghosts so close to birth so quickly shatter into pieces. Ryan lifted the Black Knight, gently placed it on his cheek, and silently chanted the spell in his heart. Replaced the bullet that was originally Avada Kedavra with the splitting spell, so that it will be easier to take care of the follow-up and avoid exposing the secret, especially after Ryan had planned to move the ghosts back to Smith Castle. Here, Kate, change a cheerful song. In an instant, Ryan scanned the entire cabin, found the instrument for playing music, and brought it to Kate. It was a device similar to a vinyl record player, with several keyboard-like buttons neatly arranged on it. At this time, the device was playing a crazy and passionate tune. Kate tried to adjust it and changed it to a soft sound like the wind, accompanied by the roars of the zombies and the green eyes. Ryan felt that this moment was so moving, and it was also a good time for the game. Ryan hugged Kate and fell into the zombie tide. Ryan? What are you doing? Kate blushed slightly, but she knew Ryan's strength and didn't think it was dangerous. Dancing. Don't these fireflies look good together? Ryan danced with Kate in his arms on the dance floor, and the silver light bullets shot out at various strange angles, split, and fell one by one on the approaching zombies. No pus splashed out, and all the zombies hit were silently divided into 5 equal parts, stepping on the drums of the music, corresponding to the rhythm of the dance steps, like meteors flying on the ground, accompanied by Kate's laughter. The zombies fell one by one, the music gradually stopped, and before they knew it, the zombies were close to being wiped out again. With the last note, the last zombie was hit by a flying light bullet, and the game ended again. It's over again. Kate tilted her head and leaned on Ryan's chest. Do you want to play more? Ryan looked down at Kate and put away the Black Knight. No, it's late, I need to rest. Kate gently pushed Ryan away and shook her head. Kate was confused and hopped towards the cabin. The cabin seemed to sense the entry of people, and the lights came on again. The stone platform in the center of the lake also slowly sank into the water. Ryan followed closely, and the zombie trail swallowed up the broken limbs again and returned to peace. Ryan, who had read the strategy, knew that if he did not leave the cabin at night, the zombies would not get up again, which was also for the wizards who came to travel to have a good rest. Ryan took out his wand, put the music player back in a hidden corner, sat on the sofa next to him, and took out a book to kill time, thinking in his mind, how to bring the ghost back, and the design of the ghost's appearance. This cabin has no bedroom, or it can be said that the living room on the first floor is the bedroom. Going in is a luxurious bathroom. Perhaps because it was decorated by an Indian wizard, the bathroom is very luxurious and does not match the whole cabin at all. The ground and walls are like the texture of elephant teeth, and the golden lines are all over the room. As for the bathroom, it is ordinary. After Kate finished washing and changing into pajamas, Ryan went into the bathroom and complained. After about 15 minutes, Ryan lay on the sofa that could be used as a bed, pretending to read again. Kate also took out a new vampire novel and looked at Ryan from time to time. She was probably imagining the handsome vampire version of Ryan and the grievances between him and the ghost hunter. Kate, tomorrow night, the last journey will begin, the mysterious Haimu Triangle. I'm really curious, what will be the means of transportation tomorrow? Will I see mermaids, the kind in fairy tales, accompanied by the dim light? Ryan and Kate fell asleep again. Chapter 60 The Hearth of the Castle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Late at night, the evening wind was whistling. Ryan in the wooden house suddenly appeared in the air of the zombie trail. Ryan was chanting a strange and long spell while using Smith's natural magic, unnoticed. In this case, the zombies in the cemetery of the zombie trail were still very quiet, as if they did not notice the appearance of a wizard and needed to greet them. This also avoided waking up Kate. Ryan's invisible magic gently entangled the spirit that was about to be born, and like a precise scalpel, it cut the unnecessary parts of Ryan's plan, such as the fear and excitement of tourists. It took about 15 minutes, and a silver sphere appeared in Ryan's hand. The next second, Ryan's figure appeared again in Smith's castle thousands of miles away. The light suddenly lit up, and the elf Jack also appeared respectfully at Ryan's feet. Jack, don't worry, I'm leaving soon. Ryan's voice sounded in Jack's heart, and the awkward spell was still in Ryan's mouth. Ryan held the silver ball of light in his hand, and used the authority of the Smith family to communicate with the entire castle, the garden, and the most important alchemy hut. Like the surging waves of the sea, the hidden magic buried for thousands of years was awakened by Ryan one by one. At the same time, Ryan Smith's name began to slowly disappear in the Hogwarts admission book, in Ollivander's memory. Smith's transactions and purchase records also disappeared like the wind. Finally, the bottom entrance of Smith's vault in Gringotts began to be forgotten by the goblins. The invisible magic waves began to surge towards the silver-white metal Smith's alchemy hut. With the surge of magic, Ryan solemnly held the sphere in his hand and walked step by step towards the ultimate weapon of the Smith family, the most important inheritance. Click, countless magnificent and strange runes began to outline the sphere in Ryan's hand, and Ryan had entered the alchemy hut at this time. Then, from the center of the hut, the beating of the heart appeared, and Ryan wholeheartedly outlined the shape of the spirit in his heart. Boom. 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 The magical energy wave that only Ryan could sense suddenly stopped, and a sphere with white light appeared in the house made of silver-white metal. Lord. Ryan gently stroked the sweat on his forehead. I'm here, what can I do for you? The sphere made a voice similar to a robot, ruthless and stiff. Let everything return to normal. Ryan left the last order and disappeared on the spot. So, in the Hogwarts admission book, Ryan Smith's name reappeared. In Ollivander's memory, Smith's transactions and purchase records seemed to have never disappeared. Finally, the bottom entrance of Gringotts Smith's vault also reappeared. Ryan put on pajamas again and lay on the sofa in the wooden house, while Kate was still lying on the side. A smile could not stop appearing at the corner of Ryan's mouth. Smith's castle is truly alive, just like Howl's moving castle. From the garden to the canyon specially used for receiving letters, it can move with the castle. The magic power required is just easy and harmless for Ryan. Now the furnace core of the castle has been replaced with an active and immortal spirit. which is born from the love of alchemy by all smiths and Ryan's magic. Ryan's current thoughts can connect to the castle at any time and observe everything that moves. In this castle, in a powerful position, no wizard can defeat Ryan now. Even the magic of apparition can be paid by the castle, but it is useless for Ryan. As for the remains of this spirit, its remaining parts were left by Ryan on the zombie trail. After all, if you dig something, you must at least leave the roots for others. With a heart full of joy, Ryan deliberately relaxed and fell asleep again. Itchy, this is Ryan's first feeling. Then there was the burning feeling of the sun on my face, and the sound of my breathing. He opened his eyes and it turned out to be Kate. She had finished washing and was poking Ryan's cheek with a piece of hair. Huh, bad breath attack. Ryan spit out a breath at Kate like a prank. Humph, there is no smell at all. Kate seemed to have expected it, and did not dodge or evade. Oops, I forgot that I have no breath at all. Ryan rubbed his hair helplessly, floating in the air, and his clothes automatically changed into ordinary clothes like running water, and his shoes and socks also flew out automatically and were put on Ryan's feet. Kate looked accustomed to it, and took out the Prophet's daily sent by the owl to pass the time. It's a bit bad to be strong, the waste of body metabolism, bad breath, these will not appear on Ryan now. After the second person in the house woke up, the wooden house seemed to sense something, and the romantic and brisk music began to sound, and the sound of water flow came from the window again. It should be breakfast, Kate guessed. On the water again. Ryan didn't care. This kind of dining experience is rare for ordinary wizards, but for Ryan, it's just a matter of hands, huh? Even though Ryan didn't care, the Lamora fish in the early morning showed gorgeous colors under the sunlight, and the water seemed to be filled with sparkling gems. The gems did not form an arch bridge this time, but swam freely on the lake. A huge parasol appeared in the center of the stone platform, and the chairs turned into lounge chairs, and the table was filled with a sumptuous breakfast. This time, Kate took the lead in walking to the stone platform and sat down on the lounge chair. Today's breakfast is red curry chicken, a large pot of pumpkin juice, and a stack of cakes. The curry on the plate, the cakes, and the pumpkin juice in the pot will be refilled as soon as they are almost finished, until Kate said she couldn't eat anymore, and then the curry and cakes slowly disappeared, leaving only the pumpkin juice that remained cold. After dinner, Ryan was bored and found 2 wooden chairs from the wooden house. Kate pulled out her magic wand, and Ryan and Kate moved the 2 wooden chairs that were about to be broken to fly on the water, hitting each other, and each chair wanted to knock the other off the air. Under Ryan's control, Ryan's chair was like a clever bullfighter, always narrowly avoiding the impact of Kate's chair. At the same time, it suddenly turned from time to time, and one leg of Kate's chair was half broken and about to fall. No more. No more. Kate's chair suddenly lost control and was thrown to the open space in front of the cabin. You can't hit me when playing with Ryan. I'm almost exhausted, and you haven't even sweated. Kate wiped her sweat and puffed up her red face. Kate, you have to pay attention to your skills. Don't just use brute force, pay attention to changing direction. I just used a level similar to yours. Logically, you should be able to hit me. Ryan crossed his hands and did not move. Kate's chair returned to its original state and flew back to the cabin together with the chair Ryan had just controlled.